Something Gaza City hasn't seen in nearly 2 weeks. Calm in the skies above it. Nothing to fear from the heavens, at least for now. And on the ground, people daring to breathe again, to step outside and smile after 11 days of a brutal bombardment. But mixed in with the scenes of pure relief were those of grief. Funeral tents set up next to buildings reduced to rubble by the Israeli airstrikes. So sustained was the Israeli campaign that some in Gaza are only now mourning their dead in public. Here, 6 members of the same family are being remembered. Ahmed Abu Asi was friends with one of them, a fellow student. There was no reason for the Israelis to bomb this house, he says.
Was it the right thing to do for Hamas to fire the rockets at Jerusalem? Was it worth it?
The resistance bombed Israel, he says. My friend isn't coming back. At least 3 buildings on the same street were hit, and people have come to see the damage for themselves. This was also the first day since the start of the conflict that Israel allowed journalists to enter Gaza.
So we've actually just crossed over from Israel into the Gaza Strip. That's Israel behind me. We're at a checkpoint, the first checkpoint of 2 to get into Gaza. The first is run by Fatah, which is reflective of the Palestinian Authority, which is in control in the West Bank. But we have to get through a second checkpoint, which is run by Hamas. That's the group that actually controls the Gaza Strip.
The militant Islamist group has portrayed the ceasefire as a great victory, insisting Israel made concessions on events in occupied East Jerusalem. Israel has said the ceasefire was unconditional. In Han Yunis, several Hamas fighters killed when Israel targeted underground tunnels were buried. Before this latest conflict, public approval for Hamas was dropping, a struggling economy declining even further on their watch. It's too early to tell whether the events of recent days will change that, but people are tired. Amal al-Masri's daughter had open heart surgery just before the fighting began. We're tired of wars, she says. The last one was very hard on me. We're exhausted and we want peace. And a future for their children, one where they can actually be children and live safe from harm. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Gaza.